Yo, what is good? What is good? What is good? How is everybody doing? How is everybody's day, man? We are here. We are live. We are here to talk about the press conference that just happened, right? It wasn't a live press conference, so we didn't react to it live, but the Raiders uploaded a good presser with McDaniels, and I'm here to talk about it. I'm here to hit down on all these talking points, man, because a lot of stuff was said. A lot of stuff was said, and I really want to get into it. But you guys already know, before I get into this, man, I have to give a big shout out to everybody who's already in the building. Shout out to Valerie, Kenny, Thor, Brian, Anthony was popping, Mark was good, Javier, what's up? Listen, man, we're talking about everything. We're talking about everything that went down. We got Robert, we got EJ, was good with y'all. Look. I really enjoyed that press conference, man. I mean, a lot of stuff was said, and I think a lot of hidden gems were left in that presser. So I'm really excited to get this going and get this underway. We already got 50 people in the room, man. Shout out to everybody. We got Egalitarian, Darnell, Anthony was good, Black Tide was popping. So look, he says, "What up? No surrender was good. Cool. I appreciate you, brother." So look. I think the talk of the town right now is Derek Carr's sweet spot, right? So, you know what? We could start off with that. But just so you know, we're going to talk about everything. We're going to talk about Nate Hobbs. Gilmore was mentioned. We had Aluminor, Leatherwood, Parker, Josh Jacobs, Rocky Sin. All these guys were mentioned today in this press conference. So, I'm going to talk about this right now. So, let's get straight into it really quick. We got Raider Jesse in the chat. Jay, Vic, Sack was good. Raider 805, Juan. Luna Sick was good, and then we got Sean Johnson in the building already. So shout out to everybody who's already in here, almost 100 deep. Let's get straight into it, right? So look, what I took from the Derek Carr portion of this live, it was pretty simple. When he was asked, you could tell by the body language of our head coach Josh McDaniels, when it came down to the whole Derek Carr thing and trying to get something in place, it's really just the money. It's really just the money, right? He wants to look forward. He wants to move forward with DC as the quarterback. He wants DC to be a part of this future with him here, right? So DC is our guy. At the end of the day, DC, we have him for this season, but the extension is wanting to get done. And the word that everybody's taking and running with is sweet spot, right? And that's what we have to look at. What is the sweet spot for Derek Carr? He's a family man. He's a guy that got a lot of responsibilities. He's a guy that's been playing football at a pretty high level these last couple of years. So with all the stuff that was going down, I think that right now locking down your quarterback long term is really the only thing that we need to be looking into. That's it. I believe he was also asked about Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller. I've been saying this, right? If you lock down Derek Carr, it threads the needle. It moves the contract talks pretty far along, in my opinion, for a guy like Hunter Renfrow that's built a great rapport with these guys. So, with Derek Carr being a quarterback that's already with the Raiders under contract for another season, that's fantastic. I feel like the way that Josh McDaniels worded it was fantastic as well, right? He wasn't beating around the bush. He mentioned it, right? He was like, it's just, meeting with him, making sure that there's a good medium, right? We could both meet in the same spot, and we could move forward. But at the end of the day, what he did mention was he wants to move forward with Derek Carr. Derek Carr is the guy that we want to be our quarterback going forward, right? So we're heading in the right direction. I think that right now we just kind of need to let time play its factor, right? Like there's a lot of time before the season begins. Like it doesn't begin until August or September. We're barely about to hit April. Like we're barely about to hit April. So we really gotta just let time do its thing. That's really all it is when it comes to this. But shout out to Josh McDaniels for kind of pushing that one out there, letting everybody know that again, DC's the guy that we want. At this point, we're just kind of waiting for everything to fall together, come into place, and make sure that both sides are happy, right? We don't want to just do what's right for DC and give him a bunch of money. We want to do what's right by both teams, and we should be able to come together, right? DC is openly said many times that he wants to finish his career as a Raider. So I don't find this like as any problem. I really don't think that it'll be any issue going forward with trying to extend this man. At the end of the day, it's his birthday. We're pretty sure we're not talking to this man about an extension on his birthday. But just just let just let it marinate. Facts. Just let it marinate. At the end of the day, shout out to KO. Aubrey, he says, "What's up, Andy? With the nation was good with you." Right? He says, "It looks like you just got back from a fishing trip." Come on, man. Anthony KO, we got everybody in the building. What's the joint you're gonna wear in Vegas? What you mean? Something like a joint? What? I don't know. But another thing I wanted to talk about, right? And I was very, very interested to see this was the fact that Nate Hobbs was brought up, right? And I was pretty vocal about this just the other day. I was like, there's no reason to move Nate Hobbs to the outside. There's no reason to move Nate Hobbs anywhere, right? He's excelled at the slot position. But something that was mentioned for those of you guys who weren't able to watch the full 40-minute press conference with Josh McDaniels, Nate Hobbs, it was said that he is going to get a chance to compete at all cornerback positions, whether it's the outside, whether it's the inside. He's going to have a chance to compete. So, in my opinion, maybe he isn't completely sold on Trayvon Mullen. But what I will say about Trayvon Mullen is that today, somebody in Trayvon Mullen's comment section was mentioning, is Trayvon Mullen a Raider? And then Trayvon Mullen ended up saying, yes, I'm still here. I'm here. Like Trayvon, there's nothing, no moving pieces as of right now with Trayvon that he knows of. So that's something to look at. But in my opinion, I understand that Nate Hobbs may get that opportunity to compete at all spots, but I really don't want Nate Hobbs to move outside. And the reason why is because then I feel like we would have that same void that we've had since LaMarcus Joyner was here. We don't have a true slot. Nate Hobbs is a supreme run run defender in the slot. I honestly believe that. I really feel like Nate Hobbs is a supreme run defender in the slot, and that's very, very big for what we want going forward, right? If we are expected to be in the 4-2-5 or in your nickel defense going forward, right? You need a guy that isn't going to have a huge drop off when you put another DB on the field, right? Because that 4-2-5 means that there's one less linebacker. So you want a corner, you want your slot corner to be able to play a lot of the stuff with a lot of physicality with your slot corners. So Nate Hobbs, in my opinion, he's a supreme run defender at that slot position. If he does get that chance to compete, like our coach is saying, there's no problem with that. There's no problem with that at all. But at the end of the day, having Nate Hobbs being able to understand that you have an emerging young talent at your position for many years to come. Me personally, I'm just not a fan of moving him, right? And I don't think that they're going to move him. I really just want to see, I'm pretty sure they just want to see what they have in all aspects on all players, right? And that moves on to my next point. Alex Leatherwood, Jermaine Illuminor, and Brendan Parker were all brought up, right? And they were all brought up for similar aspects. The question was, do you feel like what you have in-house in the offensive line is already good enough, right? And he simply said that in-house, in terms of the offensive line, he feels like many of our guys on our team have not reached their full potential yet, have not hit that ceiling. And I agree. I definitely feel like John Simpson is a guy that definitely has some untapped potential, that with some great coaching, he could be a damn good guard in this league. He could be a very, very good guard in this league. And the reason why I say that about John Simpson is because he has a lot of power. He plays with a lot of strength. His technique isn't refined, but it can be. It can be. And at this next level with some great coaching, John Simpson can be a fantastic player. I'm not too sure about Brandon Parker. I honestly don't feel that way about Brandon Parker. But one thing is that he did kind of mention the fact that he'll just kind of be that swing guy. He has that ability to swing left, swing right. He can kind of do that, right? So hopefully what we're trying to do with Brandon Parker is kind of just have him on the back burner in case something happens, right? And he did mention on his previous connection with Jermaine Illuminor, he coached with Illuminor in New England, but he also touched up on the fact that he has that versatility, right? The versatility that Brandon Parker poses is he can play left, he can play right tackle. The versatility that Jermaine has, he can play guard, he can play tackle, and so on and so forth, right? So there's a lot of things that he has in vision for this offensive line. So I'm very, very excited to see that. But the big thing was when he was touching up on Alex Leatherwood. Pause. When he was mentioning the Alex Leatherwood side of things, right? One thing that stood out to me was that he said, "I know what Alex Leatherwood was drafted for, and we do too." Alex Leatherwood was drafted to be the right tackle of the Las Vegas Raiders. As we all know, week 4, week 5 came around. He was no longer a tackle. He was now an offensive guard. He was a right guard. Now, for me, it kind of sounds like they're going to revisit it sounds like they are going to revisit the opportunity for Brandon Parker. I mean, for not Brandon Parker, for Alex Leatherwood to play that right tackle position. Now, I'm not exactly too sure how well that would work out, but I will say this. I will say this. It is much, much harder to find an offensive tackle than it is an offensive guard. Now, if Alex Leatherwood is looked at a guy by Carmen Brasillo as a guy that has all the tangibles, the weight, the height, the arm length, I believe that he could be a good offensive lineman. Now, one thing that Alex Leatherwood probably has better than any offensive lineman on our roster is his footwork. So his footwork is not the problem. It is his technique with his hands and his hand placement. So Alex Leatherwood, if he does get that chance to revisit an opportunity at the right tackle position, I do believe that with good coaching, he could be that good player. He could be a good right tackle for the Las Vegas Raiders, right? But at the end of the day, McDaniels kind of closed it out saying that, listen, Alex Leatherwood, he'll get that opportunity to carve out a role in any which way, any form possible, but he's going to play the position that's going to help the Raiders succeed the most. So that's what we're seeing. So if come week 1 we see Alex Leatherwood at the right tackle position, then we know he had a fantastic camp. We know that he had to beat out maybe a Luminor, maybe Brendan Parker. We know that he had to beat out a possible veteran that was brought in post June. So there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things going on. And I will say this. If we do see Alex Leatherwood start at right tackle, I really do think that Jermaine Illuminor will play right guard. And I still think that possibly John Simpson will end up getting that starting job at left guard over Denzel Good now that I think about it, right? You know, if what he said today is true, that he feels like most of our guys have not hit their ceiling, I really feel like they are going to try and push John Simpson as much as possible to reach that ceiling, right? John Simpson deserves that. John Simpson is a guy that he has those 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 tool sets that not many guys have, right? He came into the league naturally stronger than most people. He came into the league as probably our strongest. Well, it was reported that he was our strongest offensive lineman last off season, right? He was the strongest guy in the building. And keep in mind, we had guys like Cole Miller and Richie Incognito healthy at that time. So very, very interesting to see. Hopefully, John Simpson going into his third year, he can become more successful, right? Because we did put a lot of capital into him, right? He was a 4th or a 5th round pick. And for an interior offensive lineman, you really, really, really want to get that success out of them in year 3 or maybe year 4 now. I'm not too sure. Um, let's see. What's cracking, Andy? Was good, big boy? Was popping, bro? Go live in Vegas. That's what we're doing. That's what we're gonna do. KO the intangibles. There you go. There you go. Thank you very much. Gone fishing, Andy. Was good with you, my man? Was good, Richie Rich. Now, moving on from the offensive line, I want to talk about this, right? Because the Raiders were extremely, or it was reported that the Raiders were very, very interested in Stephon Gilmore. Now, um, reading from what I was able to see, reading our head coach's body language, it didn't look like we were actually ever that interested in Stephon Gilmore, right? The question was asked. He simply answered, "We met with the agent. Dave Ziegler talked with basically all agents, and they had that combo, but nothing substantial." Now, we all know that these guys can have a fantastic poker face, right? It is their job, part of their job, to not show all their cards, right? But at the same time, just by the body language and the way that he reacted to the question, in my opinion, I really don't think that we were ever really truly in on Stephon Gilmore, which in my opinion It's a little disappointing, right? Because I'm a big fan of Stephon Gilmore. I really, really, really would want that. But so that is something to look at, you guys, right? So we were supposedly one of the top teams looking towards adding Stephon, and now just reading his body language, it didn't look like we were ever so confident in actually picking him up. So that's something that's very, very interesting and something that we should look into a little bit more. But I also want to talk about another cornerback because there was a lot of information that went down in this, right? So he was asked about the Rocky Sin and Yannick Ngakoue trade, and the way that our head coach responded to that was, you don't see many player for player trades anymore, and they were both kind of in the same scenario, right? Yannick Ngakoue was on the last year of his deal. Rocky Sin was on the last year of his deal. He's still on a rookie deal, but they're both still on the last. They're on the back end. They're their last year of their official deal, right? So he kind of mentioned that you don't really see that too often. And he was just excited to bring in depth and a player at a position that really didn't have many players at that position, right? Before we brought in Rocky Sin, our cornerback room was depleted. We had Darius Phillips, we had Nate Hobbs, and we have Trayvon Mullen, I believe. Maybe one more guy. I believe Keyshawn Nixon at the time was still eligible to be tendered. But we brought in Rocky Sin, and it was just kind of a perfect deal, right? And he touched up on how easier it was to make that deal, knowing that they felt like it could already go down with Chandler Jones, right? So that was something that was mentioned. Yes, Aaron, the pressure did already happen. This is we're going over all the topics that were mentioned. So yes, the pressure already happened. We're just giving our feedback at this point, touching up on everything that already went down. Something that I'm gonna head into right now is Josh Jacobs, right? Josh Jacobs was mentioned, and it's pretty similar. I mean, pretty easy to answer, right? So when it comes down to Josh Jacobs, he's a guy that we know he's been our bell cow for the last 3 years. And something that he mentioned was running backs are always they're the players that get the ball the most outside of the quarterback, and they get hit the most. So you're going to have injuries. And something that I was very, very interested into what he said was, you need to have many people at this position, right? Or else you're going to find yourself in a position where you have to make a mid-season acquisition for a player. So very, very, very interesting, right? Because we saw the New England Patriots just last year or 2 years ago trade one of their running backs to the Rams. So there's definitely something there when it comes to Josh Jacobs. I mean, Josh Jacobs should still be that number one guy for the Raiders. I mean, I highly doubt he wouldn't be, but interesting enough to hear that from our coach, right? He wants a lot of players at the running back position that can run that rock, that can do that for the Raiders. And we brought in Brandon Bolden, we brought in Jacob Johnson, who is a fullback, but we brought in Amir Abdullah that can play wide receiver, that can play kick returner, that can play running back. So we got in, we brought in a good amount of people at the position. So very, very interested to see that. Did he talk about a DC extension? He did, Aaron. So what we mentioned earlier on was when it came down to the question of him being asked about Derek Carr and a possible extension, was it's kind of already going on, but they really want to get to a point where they can meet together, meet in the middle, and do what's best for both sides, right? Don't just go all in on what's better for the team and completely lowball a guy like Derek Carr, and don't just give like everything away. You have to be able to build. You have to be able to build a competitive roster, and by doing so, you can't pay everybody. So he said that he wants to meet a sweet spot with Derek Carr. Now, what that sweet spot may look like in terms of a number, I don't know. It could be anywhere between 35 and $38 million a year, in my opinion. So we'll see. We'll see. But in terms of Derek Carr, he did mention a possible extension. Again, he kind of played that politically correct role where he's still just getting to know him as on a personal level. But he also mentioned that he does want to move on with Derek Carr as the quarterback for this team, right? So there's mutual interest. There's a lot of interest, but at the end of the day, it's just meeting in the middle, right? Meeting in a position in that sweet spot that's good for both. That's good for Derek Carr. That's good for the team, where it still allows us to bring in pieces and bring in and make a competitive roster around Derek Carr. But he specifically said that Derek Carr is a guy that we want to build around. So that is something to look into, right? We've been hoping and praying that we could hear those words for many years now, right? We haven't had an offensive coach or our head coach or our GM or even our owner ever say that. But he mentioned that Derek Carr is a guy that he wants to build around. And that's why it's very important on getting a right deal done that helps both sides, right? That meets Derek Carr's demands, but also allows the Raiders to be able to build a competitive roster. So it goes both ways. But yes, Aaron, um he did mention a possible DC extension. And again, he says, do you buy into the talks that we trade back into the first round? If so, who do we trade to do it? Pretty interesting, right? Because earlier on today, Trayvon Mullen was kind of asked in his comment section if he's gone, right? And Trayvon Mullen kind of deaded those conversations. He kind of just said, no, I'm still here. And I'm actually gonna pull it up so that you guys can see. He mentioned the fact that no, I'm still here. There's nothing from it. So I'm excited about that, right? But as we all know, I don't think that Yannick Ngakoue knew that he was going to get traded. I don't think that all these players they got traded by the Raiders or the New England Patriots before really even knew when or where it happened, right? They were kind of just, all right, I got traded. Well, time to move on, right? So this is what was mentioned about Trayvon Mullen. And the reason why I'm mentioning Trayvon Mullen right now is because I think that if there's anybody on this team that you're going to try and package up to trade back into the first round, I think that Trayvon Mullen would be a guy that could possibly be packaged up into trading into the first round. And shout out to Raiders Rain here, because he was the one that put it up. Raiders Reign on his Instagram, when it comes to possibly trading away Trayvon Mullen. These were Trayvon Mullen's words himself, right? So somebody in Trayvon Mullen's comment section kind of mentioned, "Hey, you ain't a Raider no more." Trayvon Mullen responded with, "Is this a trick question?" He says, "Hope." He says, Trayvon Mullen, nope. You took all of our Raider Nation posts down, just making sure our number one DB is still on the squad. Too young and talented to not be." And then Trayvon Mullen responds with, "I'm here for show." So, he kind of shut down and deaded those rumors there in terms of a possible trade. But if we are to trade back into the first round, I feel like, maybe Trayvon Mullen is a guy that with the NFL kind of moving into a league where a lot of man coverage is being played. And I think that Trayvon Mullen could actually have a pretty decent market if the Raiders did want to trade it back into the first round. So I'm not too sure if it'll get done, but it did kind of seem like there were some reports that it did kind of seem like maybe Josh McDaniels, with all the talks that is happening, could be interested in moving back into the first or second round, or just a second round, right? Because with where we're standing right now, we only pick at 86 and after, right? You usually want to at least have one pick in that top 50, which at the moment the Raiders do not. The Raiders do not. So it is what it is. Logan says Cleveland Furrow and Abrams. I feel like Cleveland Furrow doesn't really hold much value in terms of a trade up. I actually want to see Cleveland Furrow on this team for when we play this new system in this new scheme. In terms of Jonathan Abram, I think that you might actually be able to find a trade partner for him, in terms of pairing him up with a team and one of our picks. So we'll see what happens with that. But in terms of Cleveland Furrow, I kind of actually want to see him on the roster this year on his last season, or with the Raiders under his rookie contracts. No trades for picks. Super Bowl teams don't do that. I understand that, Mr. Marty, right? The Super Bowl winning team this year, they traded away their picks. So it'd be kind of doing the backwards route for that. But you definitely do want to be a team that at least has one pick in that top 50. As of right now, the Raiders have one pick in the top 100. So we're kind of in an interesting situation. And if McDaniels and Ziegler feel comfortable with packaging up one of our fifth round picks and maybe an Abram or a Trayvon Mullen to trade into the second round, I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to that, but it would strongly rely on who we pick up as a result of that trade, right? Because Trayvon Mullen's a guy that adds a lot of great depth, potentially a starter number two. So you wouldn't want to trade a potentially starting caliber player for a guy that you don't see on the field immediately. So we'll see. We'll see with that. Solomon Thomas to the Jets. Yes, Solomon Thomas did get not traded. He did sign a 1-year deal with the New York Jets. So Solomon Thomas is a guy that was a 1-year rental. He came in, he kind of flashed in the first 3 weeks of the season and kind of fell off the earth. But glad to see another man from our roster, find a new home and find another job. I wasn't a big fan of Solly, but I'm happy that he got a job. I don't want to wish any bad on nobody. So yeah, salute Andy, salute, and Raider Nation. Was good with you, Snoop? Was popping. What up, young horseman? Do you think the Raiders are ranked the lowest in the AFC when we have the most complete skill position roster? Is it just Raider hate, or are they going by quarterback? Well, quarterback is a big part of it, in my opinion, right? Quarterback is a position where, if you look at it, every other quarterback in the division, for one, is on a longer term deal than Derek Carr. For two, outside of Russell Wilson, they're all younger than Derek Carr. Three, I definitely think a lot of it, Tony, is just hate towards the Raiders. Because I mean, if you look at our roster compared to the other rosters in the division, we definitely have a better roster than at least the Chiefs and the Broncos. Now, if we're talking about the Broncos defense, I think the Broncos defense alone is probably the best in the division. But yes, Tony, I definitely feel like a lot of it is just Raider hate, but there's nothing new with that. There's nothing new with that. I think the Raiders double dip on defensive tackle in the draft. It's a possibility. Speaking about defensive tackles, one of the defensive tackles that we signed this offseason, the deal of his contract came out. So Kyle Pico or Pecco, the defensive tackle that we picked up from the Tennessee Titans, his details came out of his contract. It's only a $1 million deal. I believe there's only 280,000 in guaranteed money. So it was a fantastic deal that we were able to bring in with Kyle Pico, right? So that's very, very good. But we'll see. We'll see. Fools trying to say we're trading Waller. Definitely don't think we're doing that. Definitely do not think we're doing that. But another thing I want to mention, right? We talked about Nate Himes, we talked about Gilmore, Leatherwood, and all these guys from the presser today. I want to ask you guys a question. Do you guys think that Alex Leatherwood's best position for the Las Vegas Raiders in this coming up season is at right tackle or is at right guard? Now, when we're looking at it, Alex Leatherwood, he has that height, he has the footwork, and he has the strength to play right tackle. He has it all. So, do you think that Alex Leatherwood in 2022 should be the right tackle of the Las Vegas Raiders, or should he be the right guard? Now, there's two things, right? When he signed his contract for his rookie deal, there was some already money in place because he was going to be playing that right tackle position. So, there's money that is already not tied into, but you're already kind of losing a little bit on your investment if you do fully move him to guard. Now it did sound like Josh McDaniels wanted to revisit his situation and possibly give him another chance, a fresh start at the tackle position. One thing that really stood out to me when Josh McDaniels was talking about Alex Leatherwood today was the simple fact that he said he played a lot of football, right? He's played a lot of football, and for some people, they kind of take that for granted, right? A lot of people right now in the NFL, they feel like all first-round picks need to start and they need to be very successful. But what he said with Leatherwood is that, the fact that he played so much football here is that his second year is actually going to feel like his second year, right? Him getting all that knowledge, now he has a full year of tape to work on, to add on, and actually, when I hear Josh McDaniels talk about Leatherwood, it's pretty interesting because he's been pretty consistent with his words on Leatherwood, and it kind of seems like he's been talking to Leatherwood almost the most out of all of our players. So very, very interested to see that. But I definitely do want to see Leatherwood probably get another shot at tackle. And the reason why I say that, you guys, is because offensive tackle in the NFL is much, much harder to find than an offensive guard. Do I think that Alex Leatherwood can be a Pro Bowler at guard if he's stuck there? I do. But do I think that he can also be a Pro Bowler at right tackle in 2 years? Maybe, right? With this coaching, he could possibly be that guy at tackle. He's still young. He's only in his second year, but me personally, if I want immediate success for Alex Leatherwood, I would keep him at guard. But I do completely understand that the coaching staff that we brought in is pretty damn good when it comes to coaching up these young guys. So we'll see. Luis says that he'll give him another shot at tackle. So it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Ideally, a right tackle since he was a mid first round pick. Offensive guard is not usually a mid first round pick. Hideous pick nonetheless. Man, it was very, very interesting. I was not a happy camper when we picked him up for sure. Can we rename channels like this to Madden Franchise Mode Experts Corner? Damn, that was a long name. I don't think anybody would want that to be the name. It's funny how impatient people are. Be pissed at the previous regime for picking him where they did, not at him. Exactly. Exactly. Leatherwood can be best at tackle. We already have an example of a tackle having a rough rookie season, then turning into a great tackle. Colton Miller, coaching matters. I agree. I definitely agree. Andy, do you have those sunglasses yet? Can you show them? Which sunglasses? Oh, yes, I do. I have them right here. I have them right here. It's actually funny that you mentioned that, J Dog. I have them right here. Shout out to J Dog. I have them right here. Check it out. Check it out. Ooh, ooh. These are badass, dog. I got them right here. And in the bottom right, there is another Raider emblem on the glasses. These are fucking badass. So shout out to J Dog for reminding me. I will be breaking these bad boys in when we go out to Vegas. You will see me in the flag football game with those joints on. But shout out to J Dog for reminding me because I had them over here. But I kind of fucking forgot. I just threw on these, the little blue blockers. But yes, they're right there. So shout out to J Dog for reminding me. Theoretically speaking, if the coaching is better, we should expect Millen to be even better. Exactly. Yes. Overall, your entire offensive line to get better with a guy like Carmen Versillo, right? If you look at all the offensive linemen on the Patriots line last year, all of them graded above 65. Four of them graded above 70. There was only one that graded below 70, and it was a 66 point whatever grade. So they all graded very, very highly. And if you look at it, Jermaine Illuminor was a guy that played right tackle for them, and he graded in the high 60s. When he came to the Raiders, he played guard and he graded in the mid 60s. So very, very interesting, right? They have a very good track record on coaching these guys up. So do I think that Colton Miller will also be a guy that can excel in his overall play with Carmen Brasillo at the offensive line coach? I do. I really, really do. We all kind of know that Colton Miller is that cornerstone on the offensive line. He's that guy that protects DC's blind spot. But with Colton Miller being there, I really do think that Carmen Brasillo will get better with Colton Miller being there as well. Andy, you're skipping mine. I have a comment. I would love to hear your response. Let's see. What would you say, Anthony? Let's see. Andy, I want a response to this. Devontae Adams was number one wide receiver in the entire NFL. Now he's barely a top 5 receiver because he's a Raider. Well, Anthony, there's nothing new there. There's nothing new there at all, right? So, I mean, whenever the Raiders pick up a player, there's going to be backlash. They can be number one at their position. They can be last at their position, right? Um, it just never is good enough, right? Until the Raiders win a Super Bowl, It'll never be good enough for anybody. And even when we do win a Super Bowl, it still won't be good enough. So with Devontae Adams being a not even maybe even a top 5 receiver is absolutely fucking ridiculous, right? I mean, in my opinion, he's the best receiver in football, right? You have Cooper Kupp, who had a fantastic season, a historical season. But at the end of the day, Devontae Adams is more consistent. He's been doing this for longer. And ultimately, right, you can have one great year and you can fall off. I definitely don't think that Cooper Kupp will fall off. I think that Cooper Kupp had the best season amongst wide receivers last year. I definitely don't think that Cooper Kupp is the best NFL wide receiver in the entire league. I don't think so. I think that Devontae is that, right? But it just is what it is. It just is what it is, honestly. It's for fantasy ranks, yeah. It's stupid. It's really dumb. Oh, the PF it was PFF. Oh, okay. Okay. OTAs for new coaching staffs begin next Monday. I like that. I like that, right? So if you look at all of our guys, we brought in Coach Lombardi, we brought in Patrick Graham, obviously Rod Ryan. Who else did we bring in? We brought in a ton. We fucking brought in Jason Simmons, Chris Ash. We brought in so many guys in our new staff. We also got Pierce at the linebacker coach. So we have so many guys, so many guys. But I'm glad to see that they should be here next Monday, hitting the ground running. Shout out to EC for the knowledge right there. Papa T says, so are Gilmore and the Honey Badger trying to get the truck? Why are they still on the market? Well, good thing that you asked that, right? Because I mentioned this when we were live, but at the moment we only had 100 people. Now we got over 250 you guys. So when it comes to Stephon Gilmore, right? Our coach was asked about what's the deal with Stephon Gilmore, right? And it was pretty simple. And I understand that these guys need to have a poker face on when they're talking. They can't show their cards. They can't. But the only thing that was mentioned about Stephon Gilmore, and his name was specifically brought up to Coach McDaniels today, was so what's the deal? What's going on with Stephon Gilmore? Have you guys reached out to him? This, that, and the third. Now, the response was, well, Dave Ziegler has spoke to almost all free agents, and he definitely reached out to Stephon Gilmore's agent, but nothing substantial with Stephon Gilmore. And it could just be all a front, right? It could be on a front with Coach McDaniels and the way he's wording it. But sometimes what you can't kind of just hide is your initial reaction, the way that you react as soon as something happens. And what I read off of his body language was like, no, like it was just like, nah, we're not interested in it. Like kind of like that, right? Like the vibe was not there. So it's very, very interesting to see. But we'll see. We'll definitely see with Stephon Gilmore, and I hope that we are in, and I hope that it is a front, because I really, really like Stephon Gilmore's work. I like him as a player. Now, in terms of Honey Badger, he was not brought up in today's presser, so I wouldn't be able to give you too much info on that, if any. I mean, I know that we've had a lot of our players within our organization kind of trying to recruit Honey Badger, right? You had Max Crosby with his quote of the day or something like that, saying, quote of the day, Honey Badgers are silver and black. You also had Jermaine Illuminor hit him up telling him that, Honey Badger and Trayvon Merrick would be the best young duo in the league. And then, you had, I think, Trayvon Merrick like retweet a tweet of his. But in terms of the Honey Badger, it was not talked about today. It was not. But Gilmore definitely was. Gilmore definitely was. No to Gilmore, no Honey Badger, too expensive. I could see that, right? I could see that, Kill Kev. I could definitely see these guys pricing themselves too high. These are guys that have proven so much in the league. They may think that they should have a bigger market than what they actually do. But I'm not too sure. I'm really not too sure. To be fair, they said his fantasy grade would drop because of Renfro and Waller taking away production. I kind of disagree. I kind of disagree with that. I don't think that Devontae Adams would take away from their production. I actually think that it'll be the same, right? Something that we saw was the Raiders weren't able to stay on the field too much. The Raiders' time of possession wasn't the greatest. So with Devontae Adams, I think that these guys like Renfro and Waller will still have similar numbers. But I just think that Devontae Adams will also just add his part. Devontae Adams is going to allow the Raiders to move the chains on second down and not have to wait on third down for Hunter Renfrow, right? So with Devontae, I think that he just overall helps us in many aspects. I don't think that his game drops or Darren Waller's game drops or Hunter Renfrow's game drops. I think they all excel for different reasons, and overall, I think that it'll just lead to more wins. But Dark Raider, you could be right on that. You could be right on that, and also PFF, if they're grading it for fantasy rankings, then that's just a little bit different. But at the end of the day, I think that Devontae will still get his, Darren Waller will get his, Renfro will get his. They're all get theirs. So it is what it is. Tony says, my dude, I've been a big fan of Docs and Wasted for a minute. Wasn't too sure about you after you blasted the Raiders day one on free agency. Now that I see more of your content, I'm all in. Hey, Tony, man, welcome to the fam. Appreciate you for the kind words, brother. Let's see. I disagree. Two most significant dips in skill players are for fantasy are when the QB is a running QB. Yeah, exactly, Black Tide, and we don't have that. We don't have that. Gustavo says I'm not digging this O line. Many of us aren't, right? But at the end of the day, Coach McDaniels was pretty he was pretty clear cut with his words today, right? He feels like most of the guys that we have on this O line right now have not reached their potential, have not reached their ceiling, and that's what he wants to do with every single one of them, right? So if he feels that he can get more out of Alex Leatherwood, do it. I mean, Alex Leatherwood clearly hasn't reached his full potential. Alex Leatherwood will go far in this league, but maybe he was talking about Andre James or John Simpson or Brandon Parker, right? We saw Brandon Parker get an odd $3 million contract. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. But he was pretty confident with what we had on this team already in this locker room on this roster. So even if we may not be confident, they are. But he did say though, Gustavo, that they were in on a couple guys in free agency. It just didn't fall their way. So they definitely did want to bring in some guys, but they weren't able to land them. It is what it is. Not over yet. Gus Low saying, yeah, exactly. Free agency is super, super long period of time. It never ends. It never ends. Left guard and right tackle, you know, the way that McDaniel spoke today, it sounds like he's going to allow Alex Leatherwood to revisit an opportunity to play right tackle again. But he said, just to sum it up, that overall he's just going to play Alex Leatherwood in the best position for the Raiders, and he's going to put the best five guys on that O line. Simple as that. Simple as that. Salute Andy in the chat room. Appreciate you, Raider 805. Are you rocking any jerseys to Vegas? Probably. I'll probably bring my DC jersey. But most of the time it's just gonna be like hats, stuff like that. But jerseys, I'll probably buy some jerseys out there, but I'll probably just throw in a DC jersey. You feel me? Let's see. What up, Andy? What up, Andy fam? Great show as always. Raiders, Raider Nation, let's go. Simple as that. Shout out to Half Breed. Shout out to my brother Half Breed. Let's see. James also needs to change his grip for shotgun snaps. It's kind of weird, Black Tide, because he's a guy. There's two ways to snap a football when you're a center, and it's really just comfort. Which one is more comfortable for you? There's two ways. There's the classic way that's more comfortable for the quarterback when he receives the ball, because he doesn't have to move the laces too much. And I know this because I played center for fucking 3 years. So when you're snapping traditional, right, and when you snap with the laces, the quarterback is going to get the ball with the laces. Now, when you snap the way Andre James and many centers in the league now snap, is at the top. They call it a dead snap, right? It's much easier to get the ball. It's much easier to snap, but it doesn't allow your quarterback to get the ball in the laces. He has to flip the ball and he has to turn the ball over to find the laces. So with Andre James, I do agree. When we're in shotgun, he definitely should try and maybe learn to snap with the laces, just because it'll allow DC to maybe take a 100th of a second off of his drop back and maybe read the field a little bit quicker and get the ball out a little bit quicker. But it's very, very interesting. But that dead snap technique is very, very popular now in the NFL. I know that many guys do it. It's just very rare to do it when you're under center. It's kind of weird. But that dead snap, in my opinion, I was never a fan of it. I didn't like how it felt, and ultimately I just learned to snap the ball with the laces. That's all it was. On the subject of wide receiver, you can't win throwing to a receiver. You have to spread. You have to spread the ball. Yes, exactly. And Glenn, when Devontae Adams made his way to the Raiders and he had his presser a couple weeks ago. So he mentioned it, right? He said, I'm a secure receiver. I mentioned to DC that he doesn't have to force the ball to me, like the numbers, the yards, the touchdowns, they will come, right? So he understands that. He understands that we definitely are going to have to spread the ball away, spread the ball all throughout this receiving core. And I mean, when you have a quarterback like Derek Carr, he's very, very, very well known to be able to distribute the ball to all guys, whether it's Marcel Aitman's, Zay Jones's, Hunter Renfro's, right? So he throws it to everybody. Throws it to everybody. Was good, Andy. Do we trade some players for picks? I mean, if you look at the roster, the only player that you may be able to get into the second round with would maybe be Josh Jacobs. I highly doubt it, right? But I really just don't think that we have any players that we should trade that we may not need to do that, right? Like Josh Jacobs is a guy that you don't take a third round pick for Josh Jacobs because it's not a guy that you're looking to get off your hands. Like you don't need to trade Josh Jacobs. If all you're getting for Josh Jacobs is a third round pick, don't trade him. Don't do it. It doesn't make any sense. He's not a guy that's hurting the team by being here. He's helping the team. So there's no reason to do it. There's no reason to do that. Yeah, under center, you need to switch to a bell snap. Yeah, you need to do that classic with the laces. It just works better because when you're snapping the ball, you can rotate it under once you're handing it to your quarterback. But I definitely agree with you, Black Tide, and it's funny that you mentioned that because I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was pretty shocked to see how much the dead snap has made waves and been able to transition into the NFL. Partially why I feel like you see the dead snap more in the NFL is because with all these guys having to move around in terms of guards having to play center, it's just an easier way for them to learn. And I think that's why. And you see Alex Leatherwood, he's a guy that didn't play center up until he reached the NFL. So that's probably why he got comfortable with that snap. But I definitely agree with you for sure. Little bro Andy is on one today, spitting that knowledge facts. He's signing soon. Never would have signed. Adams wanted Carr, not their style. Look, Adams signed here knowing that Derek Carr was going to be here for the length of his deal. So there's no reason to speculate that Derek Carr will be shipped off. He's not going to get traded. He's not going to get cut. He's going to be here. He's our quarterback of the future, right? I mean, and literally Josh McDaniels said that today. Like he said that Derek Carr is a guy that we want to build around. So that's what it is. Still has a lot to improve, definitely. Honestly, as an NFL fan, I feel bad for Kansas City not handling their money correctly. Why would you give a 4-year quarterback some Adams type money? Sure, he's a Super Bowl champion, he's an MVP. I really don't care about Kansas City. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Andy, why you stream so early? Because I was at home. I was here earlier, so I wanted to stream. Definitely not my regular time though. But hey, we still got over 250 you guys in the chat. Might do something on later on as well. So I mean, why not? Why not? I saw a Red Nation report that Ziegler said 25 to 30 mil is what? 25 to 30 mil is as high as they are going. Has anybody else heard that? No, I have not heard that. And I think that'd be absolutely dumb. I think that'd be absolutely dumb to limit yourself and cap yourself at 25 to 30 million with how many quarterbacks right now. We just saw fucking Deshaun Watson get basically a fully guaranteed contract and he hasn't played football in a year, right? We saw Aaron Rodgers get 50 or 40 million dollars a year with like 150 guaranteed. So, $25 million really isn't much. And I mean, $25 million is what he made on his last contract. You know, had your wisdom teeth pulled today? Damn, Mike, I hope you feel better now that they're gone. But I know you definitely don't feel good right now, man. The chicken noodle soup is gonna be your best friend for a couple of days. Um, Let's see. Okay, thank you. I thought it was fake. Yeah, no. Okay, I definitely didn't see any of that. Definitely did not see any of that. Hope the Queefs bankrupt themselves. I do too. I do too. I don't. I could care less about the Chiefs. Honestly, I really don't care. Desperate teams do desperate things. Facts. Facts. And we are not one of them. We are not one of them. 35-40 for DC. Personally, I think that my cap for DC was 30 million, right? My cap now with how much these other quarterbacks are getting paid, you have to pay him accordingly. You have to give him money that's not going to put him in the bottom half of the NFL of money. Like you can't do that. So I think that a good spot for Derek Carr would probably be 38 a year. 38 a year. It puts him amongst the top guys for a season or two, and then after that it's a team friendly deal again. So I'm thinking that 38 would probably be the sweet spot for Derek Carr. And honestly, with the way that we're seeing Dave Ziegler handle these contracts so well, Derek Carr right now has a $19 million cap hit with an extension, with the amount of freaking wizardry Dave Ziegler has been able to do. I definitely feel like we can save tons and tons of money for an extension with the Raiders in terms of Derek Carr. That has too small. No, I'm just not wearing it on all the way. Like I could wear it like this, man, but I just don't like how it looks. I just don't like how it looks. I could wear it like this though. But then it's like you motherfucker like it's not too small though, brother. You said 36 a year. I mean, 36 a year is fine too. I like it. I like 36. It's better than 38, so why not? Dumping bad players and contracts has been just as impactful as bringing in Adam. Ziegler is killing it, as far as I'm concerned. Carr will have a decent contract that won't mortgage our future. Exactly, right? So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But you know, I definitely agree. Dave Ziegler has done some great things with the Raiders in terms of contracts. He's done a lot of good things with these contracts, right? We were able to get rid of Corey Littleton, right? I mean, that was kind of a no-brainer. The average fan knew that making Carl Littleton a post June release was going to save us more money, but you're putting Corey Littleton as a post June release saves you $11 million. You put Carl Nassib as a post June release saves you just under $9 million, right? So that leaves you with $20 million to play with in the future, in the near future. So but at the end of the day, with signing a superstar in Chandler Jones and having his cap hit this year be less than $8 million is absolutely fantastic. Trading, then extending Devontae Adams and making his cap hit this year only be $8 million is fantastic, right? I mean, he's done very, very, very well by the Raiders as of now. And Bilal Nichols, a guy who's only 25 years old and only getting better, he's a guy that could have probably gotten $7 or $8 million. He got a $5.5 million deal for 2 years. So you're only paying him $11 million for 2 years, which is fantastic, which is amazing. So I mean, this man has done very, very good things. Matthew says Cup over Adams. Matthew, I'm not going to disagree. I definitely feel like Cup had a better season than Devontae Adams this year, but I do not think that Cup is a better player than Devontae Adams. But we can agree on certain aspects, Matthew. Just chain yanking bucket hats be funky to pull off. Hey man, I fuck with the bucket hat, man. But that's why I was kind of putting it a little bit up here though. I don't know. Also, because like right here, I don't think y'all could see me, so it's like I had to kind of throw it up a little bit more. You feel me? It's insane what Ziegler has done. It's been fantastic, EJ. It's been absolutely amazing. It's probably the contract details taking up the time more than is the money. Carr probably wants a no trade clause, and maybe he wants a longer deal than Ziggy. Hopefully they agree soon. I mean it could be that, right? It could be that. Maybe it's not too much the money, but the details of the contract, right? Maybe it's not um the average per year. Maybe it's I don't want to know trade clause. I want to know what team you guys are shipping me off to if you don't like how I play. Maybe it's there's certain incentives, right? If we go to the playoffs again, I want this amount of money. Maybe it's just the X's and O's of the deal, not just the number, right? So we'll see. We'll see. Y'all still think Honey Badger is going to be a Raider as of right now, Hunnits? It's kind of unknown, right? I mean, we've seen Gilmore kind of come and go in terms of the rumors. We've seen Honey Badger kind of come and go in terms of the rumors, but as of right now, Honey Badger is definitely linked more towards the Raiders than Stephon Gilmore is. And after Josh McDaniels today, it definitely doesn't seem like his body language or the way that he spoke about Stephon Gilmore in terms of possibly coming to the Raiders. It does not seem like Stephon Gilmore will be a Raider, but I still have my hopes up. I definitely still would love to see Stephon Gilmore in the silver and black. But at the same time, if it means no Stephon and maybe get Honey Badger, I'm with that as well. I'm with that as well. I'm all for it. Let's see. Salute Andy. What's good with you, Greg? What's good with you, Greg? Lol, funny how people call Tay underrated these days just because he's a Raider. I love the hate. Me too. Me too. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. He was just the best receiver 2 weeks ago. Now that he's a Raider, what? He's not that guy no more. Like, come on, let's be honest. Let's see. Bucket hats or fitted hats? I don't like my hats folded. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't like your hats folded? I don't like my hats folded. I like my hats curved. I like my hats curved. I like the brim curved. I don't like the straight joints, We leave that to my guy Wasted. He has his brims just that boy got his brim ready to parallel park. That's how straight his brim is. I like the curved. I like that shit. But different styles for different people. Um, I'm saying 13 to 14 wins this year. Am I tripping? I wouldn't say you're tripping. I think you're hopeful. I think you're hopeful, but I think our range this year is probably like 12. I definitely feel like if you want to win the division, though, you have to be in that 13 win range, though. So we'll see. That bucket had vicious. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, my man. If anything, we should go Will Smith on all these assholes. I'm dead. Andy going fishing. Hey man, why not, right? Why not? Let's see. Snapbacks are the new wave. I do fuck with the bucket hats. There you go. Can't do the straight headband skater for my taste. Huh? 13 for a first year coaching staff. You're tripping balls. I didn't say that, Hunnits. I said that he's hopeful, but at the same time, it's like, I think that anybody that wants to win this division, and Hunnits, you're a Charger fan, so I think that you can agree. I think if you want to hold that AFC West title this year, you're going to have to win 13 games, right? You got the Chiefs, you got the Chargers, you got the Raiders. Those are three extremely competitive teams, right? And then you have the Broncos, who added, Russell Wilson, who can he's fantastic, right? Let's not downplay Russell Wilson. You can downplay his weapons, but not downplay his play himself, right? But I'm not. Oh, we're talking about the dude from China. Okay, but yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Join Docs and Stu later. Is Docs and Stu on later? I mean, I would definitely love to see that one happen. That'd be amazing. I don't think me, Stu, and Docs have been on a live in some time, so that'd be awesome. Yeah, 7 p.m. So we'll see. I'm not sure though. I think it's probably exclusive to those two. So we'll see with that. We'll see with that. Hunters has a trash QB on his team. Yeah, facts. Fuck the Chargers, man. Fucks the Chargers. Fuck them all. Snapbacks are not the new wave. Yeah, I really thought that fitteds was the new wave. I mean, I got a whole row of like 20 fitteds right there. You can't see them. If you watch my old video, on my old videos in my old background, you can see probably like 10 of my fitteds behind me. But we've added at least another 10 or 15 more now. So we got the fitted game on lock. I'm definitely gonna be bringing most of them out to Vegas when we go. Yeah, I want to see you there too. Appreciate you, Caden, but I'm not too sure. Andy, what does your gut tell you about the honey badger? My gut tells me that he is probably overpricing himself. That's really what I'm thinking. That's really what I'm thinking. But we'll see. Trade Jacobs and Mullen to the Saints for draft picks. Two letters. NO. There's no reason to do that. No, there's no reason. I would not do that. at all. Let's see. They're going to do it without DC, and he's going to play without a contract. What? They're not going to do it without DC, and he's not going to play without a contract. I mean, he's under contract right now, so he's gonna play with the contract he has now. In terms of extending his contract, that's a different story. It's a different story at this point. Andy, give us a bunk bed update. Where are they now? Those motherfuckers in the landfill or something. I don't know where they're at. Or maybe we sold them to like the little metal, where you could sell your metal shit at. So maybe it's there. I really don't fucking know. Was good, Farrell was popping, man. Did you see the Raiders hat for the draft? Hammer and Dogs didn't like them. I did not. I did not. I'm gonna have to take a look at them. Let's see. Let's see. You hate snapbacks? Listen, I'm not the biggest fan of snapbacks, but let me tell you one thing. Shout out to our brother Raid the Tape, man. That dude is dropping some heat. That dude is dropping some heat, man. So Raid the Tape is definitely gonna convert me to the snapback side for his shit, because I will definitely be rocking Raid the Tape's new hats when he drops them, because those are fire, man. Those are freaking fire. What division besides ours y'all play next year? We play the NFC West. So we play the Niners, the Saint or the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Cardinals. So we play them. We obviously play you guys. And I think we play. Hold on, let me see. Let me see. Not too sure what's the other teams off the top of my head. Let's see. Raiders 2022 opponents. We'll see. I'm definitely copping, bro. Facts. Strap y'all. Fuck the snapback. Oh. Let's see. Our opponents for next year is Texans, Colts, New England, San Francisco, Cardinals, Saints, Steelers, Titans, Seahawks, Jaguars, and the Rams. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, yeah, I'm with it. The draft hat looks like you could buy it on a cigarette store, and it would be next to a hat with your sites naming Old English on it, bro. Old English is the font, bro. I have Old English on like 100% of my Raider hats. All my Raider hats have the Old English font on them, bro. You're tripping. But I wanna look up the Raiders 2022 draft hat. Raiders 2022 draft hat. Where did you guys see that at? Where did you see the Raiders 2022 draft hat? The draft he said it looks like you could buy it at the corner store. I'm dead. 2020. I seen the 2021. I didn't like the one last year. Um I just didn't see it. I just didn't see it. I never seen it. Worth flying out and checking out the draft on the second and third day. I've never experienced it before, just trying to meet some of the nation. Listen, man. I'm really, really glad that you mentioned that, because for those of you guys who are new, um, and maybe haven't reached this channel before, me and the four horsemen being me, Hammer, Wasted Graph, we will all be out there for Vegas. And if you want to meet us, we got two places where you can meet us. You can meet us here at the Ahern Hotel on 300 West Sahara Boulevard, when we are, kind of talking and reporting over the draft and what the Raiders do. You can meet us there, or we will have a flag football game the Friday of the draft. We are still trying to find out the location specifically, but we will have a flag football game for the content creators that are going, and for all the other Raider fans that would like to have fun and meet up with the rest of the nation and kind of kick back, kind of on a family picnic type vibe. So if you want that kind of atmosphere, you want to just be chilling with Raider fans in Vegas, meet us here at the Ahern 300 West Sahara Boulevard. It's the Ahern Hotel right off the strip. Definitely will be a fun time with me and the rest of the Four Horsemen. We will also, like I said, be with like a little park, and we'll have a little flag football game where we can all enjoy some time, spend some time with the nation, man. So awesome, awesome. But shout out to my guy, man. He reminded me with that. He reminded me. Facts, Farrell. You gotta pull up. You gotta pull up. Salute, Andy. Was good. Freight train was popping. How you doing? You there? Shout out to you, Richard C. I'm glad. I believe Hammered should it on the NFL shop. Oh, you mean showed it? Let's see. I'm gonna ask camera right now. You know what? I'm gonna ask camera right now. What the draft hats look like? What do the draft hats look like? NFL Shop. You said they're on NFL Shop. Let's go on NFL Shop. But I feel like it should have popped up then, bro. And you know what? Damn. NFLshop.com. NFLshop.com. Raiders. Select your team. New era. I don't see it, bro. I do not see it. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, hell no. Nah. I'm going to show you guys. These shits are ass. Hell no. Nah. Hell no. Nah. I'm not with that shit. That shit is trash, bro. What the fuck is that? What in the fuck is that? Hell nah, bro. What the hell? Oh, hell nah. What the fuck? What the hold on, I'm about to show y'all. What the hell, bro? What the bruh? These are our draft caps. Grade 2022 NFL draft on stage. Oh my god. Oh my god, bruh. Them are straight cheeks, dog. Come. What the fuck is that? Oh my lord, man. I mean, you know, it's still got the best colors on earth, right? It's still got black, it's still got silver on it, but damn, dog, what the fuck is this? And this is free promo like a motherfucker too. Holy shit. Oh my lord, bruh. Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck, dog? Hell no, bro. That shit is ass. He said I could have designed something better. I am weak. I mean, that shit is fire. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but uh it could have been better. It could have been better. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. It could have been better. Last year's was like, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We need a 2022 free agent hat. That'd be fire. But man, what the fuck? Could have been better for sure. For sure could have been better, but it is what it was. You seen the ones with the black banana? Hell no, I ain't seen the ones with the black banana. But listen, I showed everybody who was here before. I think we only had about like 200 of y'all when we were in here. Peep the new joints. They got the Raider logo on the bottom. Ooh, they got the Raiders on the side. Come on, man. Straight W's. Oh man, these are so badass. Shout out to J Dog for reminding me. It came in this little thing too. Ooh, straight heat, brother. We gonna be busting those out at the draft, man. Those are straight fire. Um, man, that was I couldn't believe that shit right there. Let's see. This shit is ass. Probably one of those people that need golden art colors. What? What? I think Las Vegas should have been black. I mean, all black has it would have been cool. It would have been cool. Um, let's see. I'd rock that ugly shit with pride and will smack anybody who clowns facts. Facts, bro. Like that's why I said it's still got the best colors on it, so I would still wear it, but damn, bro, like shit, we could have did better than that. But I understand it though. Like the design for the Raider hats is not designed by the Raiders. It's designed by the NFL, and then the NFL just gives a generic design for every team. So it wasn't really designed by the Raiders. Like I know the Raiders would have came out with some heat way better than that. That shit was trash though. But yeah. Let's see. The all black one's not that bad. Yeah, facts. My coworkers got some clean ass Raider shoes. Thank you. Fucking J Dog. But listen, you guys. Listen, I wanted to give you guys this live right here. I understand a lot of you guys are still at work. That's probably why we only had 250 in the room today. But that's fine. That's fine. 250, like damn, on a Monday during a work day. I love you guys, man. But here's the thing. If anything else pops off today or in a little bit, I will be back on live. But for now, I really just wanted to give you guys my initial thoughts and reactions on the presser. So that's that. I love you guys who pulled up today. I want every single one of you guys to have a blessed rest of your Monday. Take care. You know, we talked about everything that happened in the presser. We talked about Nate Hobbs. We talked about Gilmore probably not even being with the Raiders. We talked about Leatherwood, Illuminor, Parker, Josh Jacobs, Rocky Sin. We even mentioned that Solomon Thomas got a contract with the Jets. So we'll definitely see, man. If anything happens on later today, I will be back. But I love y'all, Raider Nation. Stay safe, and I am out.